Hey everyone! If you're loving the stories and want to get all parts fully uncensored, plus loads of exclusive content, and help keep me motivated to create even more, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. For just $4, you'll unlock over 440 stories to suit every taste, new exclusives dropping daily that you won't find anywhere else, and you can even suggest your own ideas for future ones. Link is in the description or comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy.
In the lavish private chambers of the Hokage's residence, high above the serene night landscape of Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki sat enthroned in his grand chair like a conqueror savoring his most prized conquest. The symbolic white cloak with red flames lay crumpled on the floor, overshadowed by the far more intoxicating sight before him. At 17, he had claimed the title of Hokage, and now claimed something far more personal, far more addictive. Tsunade, the legendary Sannin and former 5th Hokage, straddled him completely, her voluptuous form a vision of raw, mature sensuality in the flickering lantern light. Her green robe had long since fallen open and slipped from her shoulders entirely, framing her flawless, youthful body like a masterpiece, massive chest swaying heavily with every motion, diamond seal pulsing faintly on her forehead in time with her racing heart. Naruto's strong hands gripped Tsunade's wide, perfect hips with possessive strength, fingers sinking deep into soft, yielding flesh as he guided her rhythmic movements. Her enormous chest bounced hypnotically, heavy, full globes that defied gravity, nipples stiff and flushed dark pink, grazing his chest and sending electric sparks through them both with each grind. Juices gathered abundantly from their shared heat, soaking his lap, thighs, and the chair beneath them as she ground desperately, chasing that building friction with frantic circles, her body trembling with soaked desire. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. Suddenly, with a surge of raw power, he flipped her onto the grand desk, scattering important scrolls, inkwells crashing and spilling black rivers across the wood in a chaotic symphony. Spreading her powerful legs wide over his shoulders, folding her nearly in half, intense waves built relentlessly. Her massive chest jiggled wildly with the force. "Harder, damn it, claim me completely, Hokage-sama!" she demanded breathlessly, legs locking tighter around his neck, heels digging into his back to pull him impossibly deeper, her diamond seal flaring brighter with every pulse, soaked heat throbbing intensely. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. They collapsed together in a sweaty, trembling heap, panting heavily as she pulled him into a deep, claiming kiss, tongue dominating his mouth aggressively, tasting of sake, sweat, and utter, satisfied possession, her hands tangling in his hair to hold him close. The room hung heavy with the musky scent of passion, spilled sake, and smoldering incense. Tsunade smiled lazily against his neck, her fingers tracing idle patterns over the fresh scratches on his back. "You've come a long way from that loud-mouthed kid, Naruto. In every possible way. But it all began 2 months ago. 2 months earlier, Konoha was a village reborn from devastation. Pain's invasion had reduced much of it to rubble, but Naruto's impossible victory, defeating the Six Paths, confronting Nagato, and earning the revival of the fallen, had kindled a fire of hope that burned brighter than ever. He returned not on his own feet, but carried triumphantly on the shoulders of villagers who once whispered, "Demon," behind his back. Tears flowed freely, cheers shook the ruins. The boy they shunned was now their savior. From her hospital bed, Tsunade, body ravaged but spirit unbroken from shielding the village, convened the elders with unyielding authority. "Naruto Uzumaki will be the 7th Hokage," she stated flatly, brooking no argument. Shock rippled through the room. He was only 17, brash, technically still a genin in rank. Yet his achievements silenced doubters. Mastery of Sage Mode, partial control over the Nine Tails, single-handedly ending the Akatsuki threat to Konoha. Danzo's plots exposed and quashed, Kakashi's gracious endorsement, the Fire Daimyo's swift decree, it became reality. The inauguration was raw and emotional, held on a makeshift platform amid cranes and scaffolding. Naruto stood tall, the tailored white cloak draping his broadened shoulders, the traditional hat feeling both heavy and right. His speech poured from the heart. I'll protect this village with everything I've got. No one will fight alone, and no one will ever feel abandoned again, Dada Bayo. The crowd roared, even stoic elders wiped away tears. The honeymoon lasted mere days. Hokage duties consumed him. Overseeing reconstruction, coordinating aid from allies, diplomatic outreach, endless paperwork. He attacked it with his trademark energy, shadow clones managing multiple sites, personal visits to lift spirits. But the emotional toll mounted. Late nights in the temporary office became solitary, the cheers of the day fading into quiet doubt. Everyone needs me now, but who do I have? Tsunade became his lifeline. Fully recovered through her creation rebirth, she remained as advisor. Correcting his naive policies, teaching political nuances, sharing sake after grueling sessions. You're Hokage now, kid! Time to think like one. Conversations evolved naturally from strategy to personal. Over cups of sake, she opened up about her tragedies, losing Dan and Nawaki, the crushing weight that drove her to gambling dens and bottles. Naruto listened without judgment, then shared his own. The empty childhood, pranks as cries for attention, the constant fear of being only the Jinchuriki. He began seeing her differently. The intimidating Bachan faded, replaced by a breathtaking woman, vital and powerful, with curves that made his pulse quicken. The way her loose robe shifted during late-night explanations, offering glimpses of endless cleavage or the swell of her hips. The rare, genuine laughs that lit her face. The quiet vulnerability when she spoke of lost loves. She's carried so much pain, alone for decades, Naruto realized during one sleepless night, watching her review reports by lamplight. Never letting anyone close enough to help. But she doesn't have to be alone anymore. I know that emptiness. And I want to be the one to fill it. To make her feel desired, alive. Not as a kid crushing on his mentor, as a man who can match her strength, give her what she's missed. The seduction unfolded gradually, deliberately, like a careful mission. Naruto started small, compliments woven into conversation. You make this politics stuff almost fun, evolving to personal. You've always been the strongest person I know, and the most beautiful. Lingering eye contact during explanations, accidental. Brushes of fingers when passing scrolls or sake cups. Standing closer than necessary when reviewing maps. Close enough to feel her warmth, inhale her subtle scent of medicinal herbs and femininity. He noticed her reactions. A raised eyebrow at first, then amused smirks. Flushed cheeks she tried to hide behind her cup. Her own gazes lingered, on his broadening shoulders from endless training, the defined muscles visible when he rolled up sleeves, the confident way he now carried authority. Week by week tension built. A hand resting on her lower back, to steady, a map. Compliments turning bold. That robe looks amazing on you, but I'd love to see what's under it someday. Shared laughter over sake loosening inhibitions, bodies inching closer on the office couch during late talks. She tested back, teasing brushes of her chest against his arm when leaning over documents. Accidentally, letting her robe gap more, revealing tantalizing views. One particularly exhausting night, after hours debating border treaties, sake flowing freely, exhaustion mixing with unspoken desire, it finally ignited. Tsunade set her cup down with a sharp clink. Enough games, Naruto. You've been flirting for weeks, staring, touching those comments. What exactly are you after? Her tone was challenging, but her eyes burned with something deeper, curiosity, need. Naruto's heart thundered, but he didn't back down. Standing, he closed the distance slowly. You, Tsunade. I've wanted you for longer than I realized. Not as my teacher or advisor. As the incredible woman you are, strong, beautiful, everything. He cupped her face gently, thumb tracing her lower lip. She searched his eyes for any hint of joke, found none, only sincere desire. Then she crushed her mouth to his. The kiss exploded, pent-up tension unleashing in a frenzy. Tsunade's strength pinned him against the desk at first, but he matched her, hands roaming, ripping open her robe to reveal perfection, massive chest spilling free, overflowing his palms, toned waist, hips made for gripping. Clothes vanished in heated chaos, Naruto's throbbing hardness sprang free. Tsunade lavished intense attention with her warm, experienced mouth, building waves of pleasure. Naruto groaned deeply, hands fisting her blonde hair gently. He lavished worshipful attention on her soaked heat in return until she trembled hard in deep release. Intense waves built relentlessly, her massive chest jiggling wildly with every powerful pulse, legs locked around him pulling deeper. Multiple throbs tore through her, body arching as she cried out repeatedly. Naruto finally released deeply. Hot, thick nectar spilling inside as they collapsed, forever bound. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. Their nights became secret rituals of passion and comfort. Tsunade finding renewed fire in his youth, Naruto's strength in her experience. As alliances bloomed, Terumi arrived for extended negotiations. The Mizukage was mesmerizing. Long wavy auburn hair framing sharp features, piercing green eyes, blue dress clinging to an hourglass figure, high slit revealing toned thigh, neckline hinting at generous curves. Formal talks were productive, but private sessions revealed souls. Over sake and maps, Mei shared Kiri's dark history, her isolation as a powerful woman few approached without fear. Naruto connected deeply, their stories of burden and loneliness mirroring. Laughter came easier, touches lingered longer. Her hand on his during explanations, his accidental brush against her thigh. She's like Tsunade was, strong, stunning, alone, Naruto thought, pulse quickening at her smiles. There's real fire here. In time, she could be part of this. Complete it. Agreements signed with promising glances, Mei departed, but her return loomed with unspoken possibilities. Naruto's hidden world had truly begun, with Tsunade as his passionate foundation, and Mei's allure promising growth into something extraordinary. The rebuilt Hokage tower stood taller than ever, its red roof gleaming under the spring sun. 3 months into his tenure as the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki had settled into a rhythm, public days filled with village oversight, academy visits, and diplomatic correspondence. Private nights shared with Tsunade, his first lover, mentor in pleasure, and unwavering confidant. Their bond had become a hidden well of strength. Passionate encounters that left him energized, focused, and more determined than ever to protect his growing world. With Tsunade's subtle encouragement, "You're not a boy anymore, brat. Strong women need strong partners. Don't waste your fire." Naruto began to notice opportunities beyond Konoha. The allied villages sent representatives regularly now, and among them were women whose power, beauty, and loneliness mirrored his own past burdens. Mei Terumi, the Mizukage, returned first. Officially to finalize joint naval patrols and intelligence-sharing protocols, unofficially staying weeks to oversee training exchanges. The elegant red-haired leader was a force of nature, long, wavy auburn locks cascading down her back, piercing green eyes that saw through facades, and a form-fitting blue dress that accentuated every dangerous curve, deep neckline hinting at full, perfect chest, high sides slit revealing flashes of long, toned thigh with every graceful step. Naruto had felt the initial spark during her first visit, the lingering handshakes, shared sake, stories of isolation. Now, with experience under his belt, he pursued it deliberately, but carefully. Seduction, he learned from Tsunade, was about mutual desire, not conquest. It began innocently enough in formal council chambers, compliments on her strategies. "Mei-sama, your reforms in Kiri are revolutionary, real leadership." Private evening sessions in the Hokage office stretched longer. Maps spread across the desk, sake poured generously. They spoke of deeper things, her role in ending Kiri's bloody era, the suitors who feared her dual Kekkai Genkai, the quiet nights wondering if power meant eternal solitude. Naruto shared his own journey, from demon fox vessel to hero, finding common ground in their scars. Laughter came easier, barriers crumbled. He tested waters gradually. Standing closer during map reviews, accidental, brushes of fingers when passing documents, compliments evolving. "Your mind is as sharp as your beauty, Mei. It's distracting." Mei responded with teasing smiles, her foot brushing his calf under the table during one late session, dress slit riding higher as she stretched. Her green eyes held his longer, voice dropping to sultry tones. "You're not the boy I met last time, Naruto. There's fire in you now." Tsunade noticed, of course. amused, encouraging. She's interested. Powerful women recognize power. Don't hold back, but let her choose. The culmination unfolded over several nights of building tension. One evening, after finalizing patrol routes, sake flowed freely. Mei leaned over the desk beside him, close enough for her exotic perfume to envelop him, her dress gaping slightly to reveal the swell of perfect chest. "You've been staring again, Hokage-sama," she murmured, voice like molten silk. Naruto met her gaze steadily. "Can you blame me? You're incredible, in every way." The air crackled. She closed the distance, lips brushing his ear. "Show me." Their kiss ignited, slow and exploratory at first, then explosive, her lava release making her mouth scorchingly hot. Hands roamed frantically, Naruto's sliding up her thigh through the high slit, finding smooth skin, Mei's unfastening his jacket, nails raking his chest. Her blue dress slipped from her shoulders in a heated rush, pooling at her feet to reveal flawless perfection, full, firm chest with dark nipples already hard, narrow waist flaring to wide hips, long legs that wrapped around him instinctively as he lifted her onto the desk. Naruto's pants vanished, his throbbing hardness sprang free. Mei lavished intense attention with her warm, dangerously hot mouth, building waves of pleasure. Naruto groaned deeply, hands tangling in her red hair. He lavished worshipful attention on her steaming heat in return until she trembled hard in hot release. Desperate now, intense waves built, her perfect chest bouncing wildly with every powerful surge, hands clutching his shoulders as legs locked around his waist, pulling him deeper. Multiple throbs tore through her, body steaming visibly as she cried out. Naruto finally released deeply. Hot, thick nectar spilling inside in endless pulses as they collapsed against the desk, breathless, bodies slick and bound in new alliance. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. Mei became his second lover, passion tempered with elegant grace, her extended stays now carrying delicious dual purpose. She and Tsunade met privately once, sharing knowing smiles, no jealousy, only understanding. "He has enough fire for all of us," Tsunade said simply. Guys, please don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment if you enjoyed it. It means the world to me and gives me a huge boost of motivation. Your support keeps me going. Strengthened ties with Kiri opened doors to Kumogakure. Samui arrived soon after, tall, composed blonde kunoichi from the cloud, part of a delegation discussing joint lightning-style training and border intelligence. She was striking, long blonde hair and an asymmetrical tail framing cool blue eyes, Kumo uniform struggling to contain her enormous chest, the low-cut white top revealing deep cleavage, short skirt showcasing endless toned legs. Samui was all business, cool, analyzing reports with detached precision. But Naruto caught her glances, lingering on his arms during demonstrations, his confident stance during briefings. With encouragement from his lovers. "Another ice queen? Breakthrough, brat, she needs it." Naruto began the careful dance once more. Formal compliments first. "Your sensor techniques are unmatched, Samui. Kumo's lucky to have you." Private strategy sessions where he invited her input personally. Sitting close, hand brushing hers over documents. Samui's cool exterior cracked slowly, rare half-smiles, her own subtle tests, leaning forward during explanations to reveal more cleavage, accidental, full-body contact when passing in tight spaces. Tension built over days of joint training oversight, watching her demonstrate lightning jutsu, admiring her power and form. The breaking point came during a scheduled private sparring evaluation, meant to assess village-style compatibility, held in a secluded forest clearing dusted with late snow. Samui attacked with textbook precision, lightning-fast strikes, minimal wasted motion. Naruto countered effortlessly, letting her press closer than necessary, feeling the press of her enormous chest against his bare skin with every clash, her cool breath mingling with his. Snow crunched underfoot as they danced, bodies brushing repeatedly. He caught her wrist mid-kick, spinning her back against an ancient oak, pinning her gently, their bodies flush in the cold air. "You're holding back," he murmured, voice rough with restraint. Samui's blue eyes darkened, breath quickening. Cool, or maybe I'm waiting for you to make me stop. The words hung between them. Naruto closed the distance, their kiss fierce and sudden, her cool composure shattering like ice under heat. Clothes tore away in desperate frenzy, her top ripping open under his eager hands to free massive chest, heavy, perfect globes with pale nipples already stiff from cold and arousal. He lavished them intensely, mouth claiming one stiff peak while his hand kneaded the other, teasing until Samui moaned, deep, throaty, nothing like her usual composure. Her back arched, pressing closer as soaked heat pulsed intensely between her thighs. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. They stayed locked together for long moments, breathing hard in the cold air, snowflakes melting on their heated skin. Samui turned in his arms, kissing him softly, almost tenderly. That was beyond cool. Naruto laughed breathlessly, helping her adjust her clothes. Welcome to the real alliance, Samui. She didn't ask about the others. She didn't need to. The raw power radiating from him, the way he claimed her completely, it told her everything. And she was already addicted. That night, the Hokage residence burned hotter than any summer day. The women had prepared, silk robes in their signature colors barely covering flawless bodies, candles flickering, sake warming. Tsunade lounged on the massive bed like a queen, green silk slipping off one shoulder to reveal the upper curve of her legendary chest. Mei stood by the window, red hair glowing in the firelight, blue silk clinging to every dangerous curve. Konan sat cross-legged on the floor, black silk pooling around her pale thighs like liquid shadow. And Samui, newest initiate, wore white silk that did absolutely nothing to hide her assets, her cool demeanor already softened by anticipation. Naruto entered, shedding his cloak, and the air crackled. Robes fell away as hands explored bare skin, chest heaving, thighs grinding, soaked desire building intensely as breath came in ragged gasps. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. When intense release finally marked them deeply, they shared lingering caresses, savoring the heat with slow, sensual touches. The sight alone reignited the fire in seconds. As they finally collapsed in a satisfied pile, Naruto's mind cleared enough for talk. Naruto's harem expanded gradually, each powerful woman choosing him freely, their connections forged in mutual desire, trust, and shared vision. Alliances between villages strengthened in ways no public treaty could match, bound by passion that fueled greater unity. Challenges loomed on the horizon, but with his lovers at his side, Naruto felt ready for anything. The skies over Konoha had been unusually rainy for days, a quiet reminder of Amageku's eternal downpours. Naruto had arranged Konan's visit with careful discretion. Official cover as a neutral consultant on Akatsuki remnants, private quarters in a secluded wing of the Hokage residence, guarded by trusted ANBU who asked no questions. Konan moved like a ghost through the corridors, her Akatsuki cloak a stark contrast to the warm wooden interiors of Konoha. The paper flower on her lower lip and the labret piercing beneath it were the only splashes of color against her pale skin and short, straight blue hair. Beneath the cloak, her black bodysuit hugged a body honed by years of silent warfare, slender yet undeniably feminine, small, firm chest, toned waist, hips that swayed with effortless grace. Naruto's daily debriefings began formally, maps spread across a low table, Konan detailing hidden bases, old supply routes, and the fractured loyalties of remaining Akatsuki sympathizers. Her voice was calm, measured, amber eyes rarely meeting his for long. But Naruto saw beyond the stoic mask. He noticed the subtle tension in her shoulders when speaking of Yahiko and Nagato, the way her fingers absently folded and unfolded sheets of chakra-infused paper into cranes during pauses, the quiet nights she spent on the Engawa watching rain fall, as if waiting for ghosts that would never return. She's carrying their dream alone, Naruto thought during one long session, watching a paper crane flutter from her fingers to the tatame. Stronger than almost anyone I've ever met. But still hurting. Still needing someone who understands what it's like to lose everything and keep fighting anyway. His lovers noticed his growing preoccupation. Tsunade teased gently one night. The angel, huh? She's suffered more than most could bear. If anyone can reach that heart of hers, it's you, brat. Mei and Samui agreed, encouraging, never jealous. True peace needs all voices, Mei said softly. Even hers. Naruto approached Konan with the same patience he had learned. Small gestures first, arranging for tea imported from the land of rain, leaving books on philosophy and peace treaties where she would find them, sitting beside her on the Engawa during rainstorms. Silent companionship rather than forced conversation. Gradually, she opened up. One evening, as thunder rumbled overhead, she spoke of Yahiko's vision, the boy who wanted to end war through understanding, not power. Nagato believed in you, she said quietly. In the end, he saw the same dream in your eyes. Naruto placed a gentle hand on hers. Then let me carry it with you. You're not alone anymore. The shift was subtle, her fingers lingering when passing documents, amber eyes holding his longer, rare almost smiles when he shared stories of Konoha's orphans finding families. Physical tension built slowly. Brushes of shoulders in narrow hallways, his hand steadying her during a sudden gust of wind, her paper techniques responding unconsciously to his proximity, fluttering gently like butterflies. One stormy night, after hours discussing a potential lead on a hidden Akatsuki cache, the emotional dam finally cracked. Konan stood by the open shoji, rain lashing the garden beyond, her reflection pale in the glass. Some nights, it feels like peace is just another illusion, she whispered, voice barely audible over the downpour. Naruto approached from behind, close enough to feel the cool aura of her chakra. It's not, he said softly, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Not anymore. You've carried that dream alone for too long, Konan. Let me help. She turned slowly, amber eyes searching his face, finding no pity, only understanding and something warmer. Something that made her breath catch. Slowly, tentatively, she leaned forward. Their first kiss was soft, almost fragile, lips brushing like paper against skin, testing boundaries long guarded. Then it deepened, years of restraint unraveling as Naruto pulled her closer, hands sliding to her waist. Her cloak fell away in a rustle of fabric, revealing the tight black bodysuit that clung to every elegant curve like a second skin. Paper shurikens scattered forgotten across the tatami as clothes peeled away layer by layer. Her pale, flawless skin revealed inch by inch, small but perfectly formed chest with pale pink nipples already stiff from anticipation and cool air, toned stomach bearing faint scars of old battles, slender hips flaring gently into long, graceful legs. Naruto lavished worshipful attention on her body with reverent touches, mouth trailing down her neck, leaving gentle bites. Tongue circling her small chest, teasing each nipple until she arched silently, fingers tangling in his blonde hair. Lower still, he spread her pale thighs wide and lavished intense attention on her slick heat, building waves until she gasped, quiet at first, then building as faint paper fluttered chaotically around them from her loss of chakra control. Konan trembled quietly but intensely, body arching off the futon in waves of deep release. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire. In the quiet aftermath, Konan rested against his chest, paper cranes settling around them like blessings. I thought I would always be alone with a dream, she whispered. Naruto kissed her forehead. Not anymore. Konan became his fourth, her quiet intensity and unwavering loyalty complementing the others perfectly. When in Konoha, she shared their bed without hesitation. Her paper techniques adding ethereal, creative dimensions to their passion, floating restraints, gentle caresses from chakra paper, illusions of wings during climax. Naruto's circle grew, one powerful, chosen woman at a time. Each bond strengthened not just him, but the fragile web of peace he wove across the nations. ### edited chapter, reduced by approximately 25% while preserving key details and atmosphere. Snow fell thicker now, blanketing Konoha in silence. 4 months into his reign as the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki had transformed the village. New walls stood stronger than before, academies brimmed with students, and trade routes flourished under joint allied protection. The people adored him, the hero who stopped pain, the boy who became their unbreakable pillar. Yet few saw the man beneath the cloak. Naruto exhaled steam in the private training grounds, his bare torso glistening under the weak winter sun. Muscles honed by years of battle stood in sharp relief, the nine tails chakra giving his skin a faint golden glow. He had requested this sparring session with Samui deliberately. Intelligence reports showed Kumogaku wavering on full alliance commitment. Old grudges from the Hyuga affair still lingered. Naruto needed a bond stronger than treaties. Samui emerged from the tree lean, long blonde hair and an asymmetrical tail, cool blue eyes and passive. Her Kumogaku uniform. White sleeveless top plunging low, short blue skirt hugging her hips, accentuated her striking figure. Hokage-sama, she said calmly. Private training to assess taijutsu compatibility. Cool. Naruto's grin was slow and confident. That's the official reason. Let's see how compatible we really are. They began with formal stances, her movements precise and lightning fast, his counters effortless. He allowed her to press closer, their bodies brushing with each exchange. Snow crunched beneath their feet as breath mingled in white puffs. Then he stopped holding back. In a blur, he caught her mid-kick, spun her, and pinned her against an ancient oak. Snow cascaded around them as he held her wrists above her head, his hard body pressed flush against hers. You've been watching me since you arrived, he murmured, lips brushing her ear. Don't deny it. Her mask cracked slightly. Observations are part of the job. Cool. Liar. Samui surged forward, crushing her lips against his in a fierce, desperate kiss, years of control shattering. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. Minutes later, breathing hard, they remained pressed together amid falling snow. That was the least cool thing I've ever done, Samui said huskily. And the best. Naruto laughed and drew her into a slower, deeper kiss. Welcome to the real alliance, Samui. That night, the Hokage residence burned with heat. The women awaited him in silk robes barely concealing their forms, Tsunade in green silk slipping off one shoulder, Mei in blue clinging to her curves, Konan in black pooling around pale thighs, and Samui in white that hid little. Candles flickered, sake warmed. As Naruto entered and shed his cloak, robes fell away. Four perfect bodies surrounded him, Tsunade and Samui pressing close at his sides, Mei grinding against his front, Konan behind. Hands stroked, lips claimed, bodies intertwined in waves of shared pleasure. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 400+ scorching hot episodes. Fire ***. They rotated endlessly, each woman reaching trembling release until exhaustion finally claimed them. Hours later, spent and glistening, they lay curled against him, Tsunade's head on his chest, Mei's leg over his, Konan tracing patterns on his abs, Samui's blonde hair fanned across his thigh. Naruto spoke quietly. The threats are real. Konan's contacts confirmed activity in Orochimaru's old northern labs, forbidden revival jutsu. And Sasuke has been sighted nearby, multiple times. Tsunade's fist clenched. We bring him home. By force if necessary. Mei's eyes flashed. Kiri's A and BU are yours. We'll cut off their sea routes. Samui nodded firmly. Kumo's sensor core can track signatures across continents. Our heavy hitters will crush any opposition. Cool. Konan met his gaze. I still have ways into the shadows. We'll know their moves first. Naruto pulled them closer, enveloped in their warmth and absolute loyalty. This was true power, not the nine tails or the title, but these incredible women who chose him body and soul, fighting for a dream that was now theirs too. Outside, snow piled higher in silence. Inside the Hokage's hidden sanctuary, passion, loyalty, and unbreakable bonds burned bright. Old enemies were stirring. But Naruto Uzumaki was no longer alone. He had a family, one bound by desire, devotion, and destiny. And he would burn the world down before letting anyone take it from him.